Hello guys, welcome to Hankins Custom Rifles and another episode of Hanks TV. Today's Sunday, June 25th. Nice morning. We're going to test fire this gun. What we've got on the bench today is another muzzle loader that I built. It is a left-handed muzzle loader built on a Remington 700 left-hand action. We've got a Brux barrel. This is a number 6 modified. It's a 1 in 20 twist. We finished this out at 26 inches. We've got a muzzle brake here on the end. We've got our ramrod and ferrule holder here. We've got a ramrod in the gun. We Cerakoted this with H46 or something like that. It's a black Cerakote that they make. Now it's drawing a blank on the name. Graphite black. That's what they called it. So it matches the scope, matches the rings, matches up everything really good. We've got a 20 MOA Night Force rail on here, and I cut off the extra that sticks out the front just to give yourself a little clearance here on the scope. And we Cerakoted all the metal. Looks really good. So we're going to test fire this gun today, but mostly what we're going to do is review this scope. This is a new scope. I've never had one come through the shop before, and we're going to do a little review on it while we're down here test firing the gun. And what we've got is, this is a scope that was sent to me by the customer. It's a Leupold. It's a VX6 HD 3-18 by 44, and it's got a prefix on the end here that says CDS-ZL2. So it's an illuminated reticle. It's a Boone & Crockett reticle, 30mm tube and side focus. So it's got everything on it that you'd want in a rifle scope. So we're going to test it out today. I'm going to go over a few things with you that I see on it already that I like. Now, I haven't done anything with it, haven't shot the gun. I just mounted it and bore sighted it. So we mounted it yesterday in the shop. I just bore sighted it here a few minutes ago. But one thing I like about it is it comes with nice flip-up caps. These are pretty nice. I think they're made really nice. They flip right up, and they're held down with two little magnets. They got two little magnets in there that holds it closed, so there's no clicking noise when you open it up. The lens cover on the back of the scope works the same way. Two little magnets, pops it right open. Solid, not a cheap piece of plastic. So that was pretty nice. And the other thing I noticed is it's got locking turrets. When you're set on 0, your turret is locked. You can't turn it. You've got to push in this little button right here, and then that allows the turret to turn. When you go back to 0, it pops out, so it gets you a 0 stop, and you can't go past 0 because your little button pops out and locks itself back in place. Now, I'm sure we're going to have to play with these a little bit once we get it sighted in and set our zeros back again. But the windage works the same way. If you go left, you go back to 0, it pops out. If you go right, you go back to 0, and it pops out. So that gets you back on your 0 on your windage too. So give me a few minutes, guys. I'm going to go ahead and load the gun up, do a test fire at 100 yards, see where we're hitting. Then I'll make some scope adjustments, and I'll get back with you guys when I get the gun loaded. Okay guys, I've got the gun loaded up. I'm focused in good down there on the target, and just by looking through this glass, it looks pretty nice. The last scope I reviewed, I told you that I could read the letters, the wording on my targets down there, and I can read it through this scope also. So it's building the most accurate rifles possible. I can see Hankins Custom Rifles in black. I can read that at 100 yards. So there's some little lettering underneath Hankins Custom Rifles. It's just an address, a telephone number. I can't physically read it through the scope, but I can see it down there. We are set on 18 power. I've got it focused out really clear. I'm seeing quite a bit of mirage today. We've got sun shining nice and bright, and I can see some mirage coming up. Mostly it's behind the target, you know, farther out past the target, so the target itself is not too bad as far as the mirage go. I can see it, it's moving a little bit, not too bad. So what we're going to do is like we did the last time. I'm going to shoot one, and I'm going to aim for the O in the letter custom, in the word custom. We're going to aim for the letter O. And this is a left-handed gun, and I'm right-handed, so I'm going to go ahead and shoot it right-handed. I'm going to make a few modifications to how I would normally hold it. And I'm going to put this elbow pad up here on the gun so that this corner don't dig into my cheekbone when it goes off. And I'm going to put my hand up here instead of through the hole. So here we go. Let's see where we're at. Okay, I see that bullet hole in the paper. I'm going to make some scope adjustments and see if we can't get up there on the hole. So we shot a little bit high. And I can't go past 0. Okay, so we're going to have to take this cap off, make an adjustment, and then put the cap back on. So when I get that done, I'll get back with you guys. Okay guys, I made the adjustment. I didn't have to take this cap completely off. I just loosened these 3 screws here about 1/4 of a turn. I was able to turn the cap and then lock the screws down, and then I was able to turn, actually make an adjustment. So the cap will spin free on here when you loosen these screws. It comes with a little supplied Allen wrench to loosen those up with. And then I lock them back down. I've sighted in where I think we're going to be close to hitting the bullseye this time. So I'm going to shoot another one. And if it takes another adjustment, we'll make another adjustment. Okay, I think I will make another adjustment. We're not far off, but we could get a little better. So I need to come up about 2 clicks. And I'm moving to the right about 3 clicks. Okay, that should be pretty close now. I'm going to go ahead and lock these turrets on 0s just so they don't move on us. And we're going to load her up again. Okay guys, I made my final adjustment. Locked the scope turrets back on 0s. I've got the gun loaded, and we're going to shoot 3 shots for a group at 100 yards. And let's see how this gun will do. Well, fellas, I pulled that last one there. I know I did it. So we're going to shoot one more for a 3-shot group. It's a little windy today, but I don't think the wind could have blown it off that much. I'm going to blame that one on myself. It's a little bit hard, actually, to shoot a left-handed gun, right-handed. I know you left-handed guys have been doing it for a long time, because left-handed guns sometimes are actually hard to find, and I guess if you did it enough, you'd get used to it. And if it weren't for this thumb hole, it wouldn't be so bad. But the thumb hole makes it hard to hold right-handed when it's a left-handed thumb hole. So let's try one more and see where we're at. Well, that's a little better, but it's still not in the group with the other ones, but we're going to call it good for there, and we're going to make our adjustments here, and we're going to move out to 444 yards. We're going to shoot that gong a couple of times, and we're going to go back to 0 and shoot that target and see what we get when we move back. So we're going to reposition the camera. We'll get back with you guys in just a second. Okay guys, we're back, and I've got the gun loaded up again. I've dialed the scope up 8 3/4 minutes. That's for 444 yards, and we're going to shoot at the big steel gong down there. So I'm already loaded, my safety's on, I'm ready to go. So let's go ahead and get down there on that target. We're going to shoot at it twice, and then I'm going to go back to 0 and shoot at 100 yards again and see if we're back in the same group. Okay guys, I missed, so the wind is getting us. It is pretty windy down there. I didn't realize it, but it's blowing pretty good. So we're going to try that again with the other shot and see if we can get on it. And if not, we'll just dial back to 100 yards and shoot back in our group and see where we're at. Okay guys, we're loaded up again. Second shot. We're just going to try it again. I'm going to aim dead in the center of the gong, and if we miss it, the wind's blowing us. That's about I think that's a 14-inch gong, so it'll be blowing 7 inches if we completely miss. Okay, well, we got it that time. I aimed dead in the center of that gong, so there's too many dots on it to tell which one is the fresh one. So we'll just have to go with we hit it, and that's all we can do. We're going to load it up again, and then I'm going to 0 the scope back for 100 yards and see if we can get back in our 100-yard group. Okay guys, we're back loaded up on the bench. I'm going to turn the dial, our elevation knob, back down to 0. I want to show you guys how this works, so I'm going to bring the gun up here towards the camera a little bit. You see this little button sticking out on the windage. There's one on the elevation too, so when you turn back down to 0, that button pops out, locks it right back on 0, and now you can't turn it either way unless you push a button in, and you can only go up. That's one thing I don't like about this, is if you had a 200-yard 0 and you wanted to back it down to 100, you can't do it. You can't go backwards. You can't go past 0. So I don't like that part, but I do like the knobs locking. If they could just figure out a way to make it lock at 0 where you could go up or down. They did it on your windage. I'm sure they could do it on the elevation. They probably just never thought that somebody would need to do it that way, but I would like to see it where it can move both directions. So we're back on 0. We're loaded back up. We're going to go back to 100 yards. And we are ready to fire. Almost. And fellas, we are back in the group. So the tracking on the scope looks like it works pretty good. It's clear glass. We've got good, you can hear the clicks, but you can feel them. I like that too. So the group ain't the greatest, but I think the wind got us on a couple of these shots. Like I said, it is pretty windy, and that first shot I thought it was me, but after I've done it 2 more times, I just think the wind's getting us. Or the scope might have settled in for that, you know, after them first 2 shots, it might have settled. So our last 3 shots is actually all pretty much in the same spot. The first 2 are the ones that are out of the group. So something settled in, barrel fouled up a little bit. You never know what, you just can't explain it. So the scope, I think, is a pretty good scope. We don't have a battery, so I can't test the lit reticle part. I guess when the customer sent it to me, he didn't want to send the battery in the mail. It's a lithium battery, and I don't even think you're allowed to ship those through the post office, so he probably took it out for that reason. So we can't look at the fire dot in here, but I'm sure it's going to work just fine too. The flip up caps are nice. Looks like a good solid scope, so time will tell. Okay guys, we took a quick walk down here to the target. This is what we were shooting at today. This is my first shot, and I was aiming for the O. This was my second shot, and I was aiming for the O, so I made an adjustment. And then my 3rd and 4th shot is right here. 5 and 6 shots are right here. Then we shot at 444 yards. I went up 8 3/4 minutes. Shot the gong twice, missed it once. Sometimes you get lucky, sometimes you don't. Then we came back to 0 on our scope and shot our last shot right here. It's one of these 3, and if I had to guess, I think it's this middle one right here. So it went right back in our group, so it tracked good. Everything looks nice. You can see we do have a pretty good breeze going today, so almost 450 yards. That breeze could throw our bullet off far enough to miss our gong if we don't compensate for windage, and I didn't do any compensation on the windage. But here's our rifle. It's pretty much my standard muzzle loader build other than I Cerakoted it, and it is left hand. We had to do a special order on the left-handed stock. Had to wait on that for a while. We did a review on the Leupold VX6 HD. This was the 3 to 18 power. It's a pretty good range, all the way down to 3 and all the way up to 18. 30 millimeter tube, 44 millimeter objective, 0 stops, locking turrets. Pretty nice scope. So I'm going to give a thumbs up to the Leupold VX6. For any of you Leupold fans that like Leupold products, I would not hesitate to recommend that you try one of these out. So if you need a custom built rifle, you can pay more, but you can't buy better if you get one from Hankins Custom Rifles. So give me a call whenever you need something built up, and we'll build you one that shoots good. Talk to you later, guys. Thanks for watching the videos. Have a great day.